Hello my loves and welcome back to my hair channel. Today I'm bringing you an exciting video because I'm going to be showing you some of my all-time favorite hairstyles to create, and they are boho braided hairstyles. And now that I have my new fancy hair extensions, I'm absolutely obsessed with braids. So I thought I'd show you some of my favorite braids that I have been rocking lately and some techniques that I have switched up in my hairstyling routine. Is that even a thing? Anyways, I did clip in my 240 gram set of fancy hair extensions. This is the creme brulee blonde set. And like I mentioned in my previous video, my how to tone hair extensions video, I did tone them with purple shampoo. So they match the ends of my hair perfectly. So I am wearing all the pieces from the set except for the 4 1-inch wefts. There are 12 pieces in the 240 gram set, but I'm only wearing 8. And the reason why I do that is because when I'm doing braided hairstyles or half up styles, I like to keep the wefts about here, and I don't like clipping anything above that point, just because when I do that, I find it much harder to work with and to hide the wefts. So that's just a tip for you guys if you are planning on incorporating clip-in hair extensions into your hairstyles. Just keep that in mind. You may want to clip them down lower on your head so you have enough hair on top to cover them up. So I did curl my hair this morning and I ran my fingers through it right away to mess up the curls and make my hair look really boho and beachy and wavy. So what I did was use a 1-inch curling iron, and I curled about 1-inch sections of hair in alternating directions. So for example, if I curl one section of hair towards my face, I'd curl the other section of hair away from my face, and I would just alternate the directions throughout my entire hair, and then you get this really beachy boho PC look. So without further ado, if you guys want to see how I created my boho braided hairstyles, then please keep watching. So for this first hairstyle, I'm just gathering my hair in the back, and I'm taking about half of my hair that is on top, and I'm going to be tying it off with a hair elastic. And if you want, you can pull out the pieces around your face to frame it. And I just like to loosen this up to make it look a little bit more effortless. And because these are boho braided hairstyles, I want it to look a little bit more undone and effortless. So next, I'm going to create a separation in the ponytail right here. And I'm going to take a small section of hair from my left, and I'm going to pull it through the opening just like this. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull it through the opening. And then I'm going to repeat this one more time on each side. And this is just going to create a very unique twisted effect. Now that I've got that, I'm going to separate all of the hair into 2 sections, and I'm going to create a fishtail braid. So I'm going to take a small section of hair from the left-hand side, cross it over the left, and combine it with the right. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the right, cross it over, combine it with the left. And again, small strand from the outside of the left section, cross it over the left and combine it with the right. And then take a small section from the right, cross it over the right and combine it with the left. So I'm just going to keep repeating these steps until I have about a few inches of hair left at the ends. And then when I get to this point, I just like to gently pull out on the sides of the fishtail braid to loosen it up, of course. And then I'm taking an elastic and tying it around the end of the braid. And on the very last tie, I'm just going to loop it through like this and then pull out on the fishtail braid again. This has been my favorite way of finishing off my braids lately. I just think that it gives it a very interesting finish at the ends when I loop it over like that, and it also holds the braid much better. And the last thing I'm going to do is take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut off the elastic at the top that's holding the twists together. And this is just going to blend everything in together and make it look nice and seamless. So for this next hairstyle, I'm going to start off at the top of one side. I'm going to pick up a section of hair and separate it into 3 strands, and I'm going to start braiding a Dutch braid. So to braid a Dutch braid, I'm simply just taking the side strands and crossing them under the middle strand, and I do that 2 times, and then on the next one, I take the outside strand, cross it under the middle, combine hair from the outside, and combine it with the side strand. And then I'm doing the same thing with this one, so crossing it under the middle, combining hair from the outside of the strand and crossing it under. And again, under, combine, under, combine. So I'm just going to do this a few more times. So I'm going to stop at about ear level, and then I'm going to continue down with a regular Dutch braid. And I'm going to do that until I get till about this point right here, and then pull out on the Dutch braid to loosen it up. Just warning you guys, because these are boho braids, I'm going to be doing a lot of this. So if you don't like it, feel free to skip it, but I think this gives it more of a relaxed boho feel. All right, so I'm just going to tie off the braid. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So now that I have my 2 braids, you could leave the hairstyle like this, and this could be a very easy boho braided hairstyle. So I'll show you what this looks like. And for a variation on this hairstyle, what you can do is separate the hair into 3 sections like this and just simply braid it into a huge chunky braid. So I'm just doing a regular braid here, so crossing each side strand over the middle. And once the 2 Dutch braids are incorporated, I can remove each hair elastic that keeps the Dutch braid together. So I'm doing that right now. That way none of the elastics will be showing. And then I'm taking an elastic, tying off the end, and just like I did with the previous hairstyle, I'm just going to loop the ends like that. For the next hairstyle, I'm just going to take a section of hair from the front, and I'm going to braid it into a Dutch braid that's attached to my head. So I'm going to separate this section into 3. I'm going to cross one of the side strands under the middle, take the other one under the middle. Then I'm going to start incorporating hair from the outside of the braid into the braid. All right, so I'm gonna stop about here, and I'm going to pull out on the Dutch braid. And then I'm going to secure the Dutch braid with an elastic. And at this point, I'm going to pick up a section of hair from one side, and I'm going to twist it, pin it over that elastic. So I'm going to turn around and show you what I'm doing from the back. So I just took this twisted section, put it over the elastic, and now I'm going to pin it in place. I'm pinning it under the elastic so you can't see it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you wanted to build up on that, what you can do is pick up that ponytail from the previous braid and pick up some hair from underneath that. And I tried not to include the twist, and you just want to separate the section into 3 and then braid a regular braid. So before I tie it off, I'm just going to pull out on the sides of the braid, obviously. So some people don't like when I do this, but honestly, I think it gives the look a much more effortless vibe. Again, this is completely optional, so if you don't like the way that it looks, don't hate on me, just skip this step. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. All right, so I'm going to take the elastic, tie off the ends, and I'm going to loop the ends. I'm going to make it a little bit tighter. It's not tight enough. I'm going to pull it on the braid just a little bit more because I can't help myself. Honestly, in my opinion, when you're doing boho braids like this, the more you pull it out, the better, but that's just my opinion. So I was taking apart the previous hairstyle and I wanted to show you another boho braid, and instead of starting from scratch, I'm going to pick up where I left off with this braid. So I'm going to continue braiding a Dutch braid until the ends of this section. When I have about a few inches of hair left, I'm going to pull the sides of the braid. And then I'm going to tie off the ends with an elastic. Now you can leave the hairstyle like this and just tie off the ends whichever way you want. I'm going to loop it. You can leave it like this, which is really, really cute and boho. So I'll show you what that looks like from the back. And another option is to take the braid and start wrapping it around itself at the point where you finished French braiding, wrapping it around itself and turning it into a little flower. And once you have your shape, just take some bobby pins and pin it in place. For this next hairstyle, I'm just going to gather the hair around my crown area and I'm going to tie it with an elastic at the back of my head. And then I'm going to take this ponytail and braid it into a very loose and messy braid. It can be any braid that you want. Just going to braid a regular 3-strand braid. I'm not taking the time to make it tight or perfect or anything because I'm going to pull it out like a mad woman right now. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because I'm going to wrap it into a really messy flower bun. Take this braid, wrap it around itself, and just pin it in place. And once it feels secure, I'm just going to pull on it a little bit more just to make it even more messy, because I don't want this to look perfect at all. And if you want to take it one step further, you can pick up a section of hair right under the bun and then braid it into a messy braid. Then of course I'm going in and pulling it apart. I don't even know if I need to mention this every time now because I'm just gonna go ahead and do that with every single braid. And then, as I have been doing in every single one of these hairstyles in this tutorial, I'm just tying off the ends and then looping it like that. For this next hairstyle, I'm going to pick up some hair around the crown area and I'm just going to braid it into a regular 3-strand braid. And for this braid, I'm going to braid all the way to the ends until I can't braid anymore. And of course, I'm going to pull apart the braid. No surprise here. And this one, notice that I'm only pulling out on the very, very edges of the braid because I'm going to be braiding this braid within another braid. I still want it to be recognizable. I don't want it to be too messy. So that's why I'm just pulling on the very, very edges. And then to secure it, I'm just tying off the ends with an elastic. And on this side of my head, I'm going to create another 3-strand braid. And because these braids will be going into another braid, like I mentioned, I want to make sure that I braid towards the back of my head, because if I braid the braid downwards, it's going to look very awkward and lumpy when I pull it back. And don't worry if the braids are different sizes, that's just going to add to the whole bohemian relaxed look that we're going for. That's why I really love bohemian hairstyles. You don't need to be neat or perfect with them. The messier they are, the better they look. Don't worry about it. Just chill out, relax, have fun with it, experiment, and don't worry about being perfect. So I've got braid number 2 and I'm tying this one off with an elastic and one more braid to go. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I just did on this side to this side. Alright, so now that I have my 3 braids, I'm just going to gather them in the back and I'm going to braid a regular 3-strand braid using the braids. And you kind of want to make sure that they're flat when you do this so that you can see that there are braids inside of this braid. So just like that. And I'm just going to take the elastics off the ends of the braid and then I'm going to tie all of them together with an elastic. So for this next hairstyle, I'm just going to take those braids from the previous hairstyle and kind of bring them to the back to create this like half up look. And to keep them in place, I'm going to take the two braids and just tie them together into a knot like this, and then tie the loose ends together with an elastic. And then I'm going to take the loose hair and separate it into three and braid a regular 3-strand braid. I'm going to braid up until here, and then I'm going to take the middle strand, separate it into two, and bring each half into the side strands. And once I've done that, I'm going to start braiding a fishtail braid. So I'm going to take a small section of hair from the outside of this left section, cross it over, combine it with the right, then take a small section from the right section, cross it over the right, combine it with the left. And again, small section from the left, cross it over the left, combine it with the right, take a small section from the right, cross it over the right, and combine it with the left. And then when I get up to this point, I'm going to separate the hair again into 3 sections and then braid a 3-strand braid again. And then one last time, I'm going to take the middle section, separate it into 2, and combine each half with the outside strands, and then braid a fishtail braid once more. If you guys like these talk through type videos much better than me doing a voiceover, please let me know in the comments below, because I think for editing, this is much easier for me to do, even though it's a lot harder to do while I'm filming because I'm schwitzing like a crazy person. But I think when it comes to editing, it'll definitely help me out a lot more. And plus I feel like I'm chatting with you guys. I feel like I'm just, you know, talking to you guys and just doing our hair, doing what ladies do. I find like it's a lot more relaxed for me. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. And then you should have something that looks like this. All right, my love, so that wraps up today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and will try out some of these hairstyles yourself. Please let me know in the comments below which boho braided hairstyle was your favorite and why. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this one. I also wanted to remind you guys that I recently launched a second channel. It is my beauty/fashion lifestyle travel channel. So there's a lot of content that I post there that I don't post on this channel, because this channel is all about hair. The second channel is everything else. So if you guys are interested in learning more about me and want to see what I'm up to, feel free to click on the video in the top right corner over here and it'll take you right on over to my second channel. And until next time, you can follow me over on Instagram. My handle is Nikki Sky with 3 Ys. And if you guys want more hair inspiration, you can follow the Fancy Hair Instagram account to see daily hair inspiration popping up on your newsfeed. And until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you in my next one. Today is a very, very exciting video because I am doing a huge giveaway. So the reason for this giveaway is because it has been officially 3 years since I have been on